Ukrainian troops fired missiles at Russian oil rigs which before 2014 and the annexation of Crimea belonged to a Ukrainian company extracting oil and gas from the bottom of the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov. The platforms are located about 70 kilometers east of Odessa. In retaliation, the Russians bombed the coast near Odessa. Due to the actions of Ukrainian forces, the Russians had to resort to desperate measures, including shooting with incendiary ammunition. Russian troops fired on villages in southern Ukraine for 3 hours. They were attacked inter alia by Odessa and Ochakiv. In Odessa, a missile caused a fire in a food warehouse. The fire spread over 300 square meters and was brought under control. Agricultural buildings in the suburbs were damaged in Ochakiv. The missiles also fell in the vicinity of Białogorod, on the Dniester, and on the Danube estuary, where residential buildings on the islands were destroyed. The Russians have resumed intense shelling of Kharkiv's residential quarters. 9 people died today, including another child. The school building, which houses the humanitarian aid centre, also suffered damage. There were 2 outbursts. The effect of the first one can be seen behind my back, and further down the road is the epicentre of the second. It was a civilian facility, a vocational school that prepared the railway staff. It was practically razed to the ground. We have recovered the fragments from the ruins, which will be handed over to forensic specialists for expert analysis. Compared to the administration building, this part suffered less. Here the windows and doors fell out and the wall was damaged. At night, the Russians shot at the school in Avdiivka, which is already the 3rd school in the city that has been attacked. In total, in the Donetsk region alone, the Russians have already destroyed about 200 schools. The Russians are firing again at Kharkiv and Odessa, and are again attempting brutal intensive actions in the Donbas. This is evil, an evil that can only be suppressed on the battlefield. We defend Lysychansk and Severodonetsk. The most difficult fighting takes place there, but we have strong boys and girls. I am grateful to the military and intelligence for their fight against the occupier. The command of the Ukrainian armed forces reports that the Ukrainian troops are slowly moving towards Kherson, whose buildings are already visible through binoculars. Meanwhile, the Russians are sending more and more tanks to this section of the front. Since the beginning of the invasion of Ukraine, Russia has lost over 34,000 soldiers, 216 aircraft, and almost 1,500 tanks.